to Kipping Up with Wrestling.
Welcome to episode 3, but 2, episode 2 of Kipping Up with Wrestling, recorded on November 9th, 2017. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for checking us out. We hope you like it and subscribe so you catch all of this all of the time. If you are a returning listener, we love you that much also. You can check us out on our website at kippingupwithwrestling.com or on any of the standard social medias at Kipping Up. And you can watch us record live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel. Probably not your YouTube channel.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, that would be super weird. You can join us throughout the week as well on our Discord channel where we talk about wrestling all week whenever we're finding news and rumors and such. And all of the links for that are in our show notes. Now, let's get the show in the ring.
Let's do it.
Woo!
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So, Jason, hello.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
How was your week?
It's good.
Yeah.
Just so much wrestling.
So much. Okay. Joey, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Ready to talk some wrestling.
Yeah. I'm Shannon, and we also have Zach.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Yeah. Now, just to let you guys know the confusion with the numbers in episode 2, episode 3, we actually did record an episode last week, episode 2, and it was amazing. It was the
It's
best
great.
wrestling podcast ever recorded in
Ever.
history.
It was so good. They're like, you can't
It was so
It's gonna
good. And
render everything else irrelevant.
yeah, apparently there's some crazy bug, and all of my audio settings got turned off, and I did not know about this bug. I did not realize it was happening. We had all video and no audio, which is not good for podcasting.
No, usually you need audio to do a
A little
podcast.
bit of audio when you're discussing things. Yeah.
Experimental.
So, this week might go a little long because we're going to cover a few things from last week that I think are really important because they move into this week. And we'll see how it goes. And I hope you bear with us and enjoy the whole, I don't know, mess of it. It's a 2-week segment, all wrapped into one. So let's see here. We have Wrestling Raw. So last week, I'm gonna go through the last week, and then you guys are gonna I hope this is the theory here. Like we're gonna just move into this week as we go through out these segments.
Okay.
Raw last week. I'm gonna zip through it real quick. We had to welcome back Bo, JoJo, Nia, Samoa Joe, Stephanie, Braun. There was the Nia Jax rumors on why she left. There was this whole thing that she said she wasn't happy with. They wanted her to lose to Sasha Banks, and then she called The Rock, and The Rock said, if you're not happy, walk out. So she did. And then Stephanie's return came out that week as well. And then Kurt was made the captain of the Raw Survivor Series. Brian was on Raw and attacked, apparently. The announcer wars were still going strong with them just unleashing on Booker lately, which I'm really enjoying. And we fell in love. I say we, but it was me, I think, with Alicia Fox and the damn captain's hat and her just going bonker balls on this whole captain's thing. And she's just, I've gone from just really just wondering what they're going to do with her to just in love with her overnight. We've also went through the Halloween stuff with the Trigger Street fight between Santa and Mrs. Claus and Tex Ferguson. And Chad, Too Bad, Allegra, and all the Halloween specials as well. I'm kind of bummed we're going to miss out on a lot of the discourse we had on that, but we're probably going to skip past it now at this point. That was Raw last week. Why don't you guys cover some Raw this week and how that pertains to Raw last week?
Okay. So it started out with Kurt Angle joining Miz TV. And just love the Miz. Love what he's doing right now. His promos are always great. You can just tell that he's meshing real life and wrestling together. I just feel like it brings great promos every time he's on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in like a zone right now.
Oh, yeah. I think he really deserves in the next year or two. He deserves a title run. I don't think he should beat Brock, but I feel like somebody else gets it.
I'd be okay with that.
Maybe that'd be a feud later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing on the mic, and there are times where it's like, did he okay any of this with anybody? Because it's so passionate. He's just really good at promos. So, yeah, I agree with that. That's it? That's all that happened?
That's the only thing that happened on Raw.
That's all that happened?
It was a long segment.
Wow. I think we had more
Oh.
Zach just dropped off. That's okay. We'll keep chatting away here until he comes back. Apparently he said that's all that happened on Raw, and he's like, I'm out.
And on a high note.
I covered Raw.
His computer shut down, he said.
All right.
I'm trying to remember offhand what happened after that. I mean, we can scatter shot. We had.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We had Cesaro and Sheamus winning the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In an interesting twist, which I'm totally okay with. I was really pumped for Usos versus Ambrose and Rollins, but I think this is going to be just different, but equally as good. Go ahead. Then I think I'm totally fine with it, with the addition of, or what seems to be the addition of, New Day versus The Shield at Survivor Series, which sounds like a great match.
Oh yeah.
So we went from having one, which would probably be the best match of the show, to two matches that both could steal the show.
Yeah, you were saying too, as the match began, you're like, the Shield doesn't need the titles.
No.
So, to be badass.
They're over. They're bulletproof. Shield. That Cesaro and Sheamus, I'm glad they weren't kind of forgotten.
Oh, I love those two. I love those two as a couple, or a tag team. Sorry. I love how they started out just being bitter enemies, got thrown together. It was just a charismatic bit of genius how they made it work.
McFoley's plan
to work together. Yeah. So
that 3 out of 5 match or whatever that was.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Weird. Yeah.
They made it
Which
work.
was weird at the time, but it totally paid off.
Now Stephanie wasn't on this week, right?
No, that was the week before.
Yeah, she returned, but then was gone.
But she she came and said, didn't she say, Angle, if you lose, you're fired? So now it's the fallout of that, of him trying to piece it together.
So it's more of a threat than a back. A return.
Yeah.
Okay.
That reminds me, he added Jason Jordan this week, right?
Yeah, I was not happy with that, but
No,
you either?
No, I did not like that move. I mean, I like Jason Jordan, but I don't know, just doesn't have that star appeal.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is gonna be the start or a heel turn by him.
Either that or it's his make or break moment, because he's not getting over with how they want him.
Yeah, I think they're either they got to have something planned of whether he looks like a total BA or he turns on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can remind him that he can also access us through his phone if the computer keeps being a problem.
Do you want me to check on him?
No. Well, I don't know.
We'll give him a couple more minutes.
Yeah, give him a few more minutes. But if it just really is having problems, just remind him. The phone's always a viable option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I just don't want him. I don't want to zip through stuff when he's like, "Man, I wanted to talk about that."
Well, we can always go back.
We have been plagued with technical difficulties so much. Let me think. I'm gonna go through some SmackDown here.
There's one more on Raw.
Okay, yeah.
Finn Balor and Samoa Joe.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Out of ring DQ, and they both were added to the Raw team for Survivor Series.
Yeah, that was an amazing match. I was really happy with that. I love that they both got added. I
love Finn's dive at the end.
Yeah,
oh,
it was
great.
So good. So
it's a great
really
spot.
happy with all of that.
I don't know how this team's gonna function.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Which that's a cool story.
It is. It's a good story.
So they have their 5, right?
Yes.
It's
I believe. Wait a minute. One of them has one more, right?
I think the women's division has one more.
No. SmackDown. Yeah, SmackDown did, but they just filled it with we'll
Cena.
talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cena.
Okay. Yeah.
SmackDown. The week we missed, Fashion Files did Stranger Things, and we were all in love with Gulak on 205 Live, and there was the
Where are my
Ziggler,
ghouls at?
Ziggler and
Breathe out,
Rude,
Emily.
and the second fall happening during commercial, which is just stupid,
Yeah, that
by
was bad.
the way.
Man, they're making Rude look like such a nothing.
Like, he's not great on the mic, but they're not helping
No.
that at all. Like, he was better in 205 Live than what they're...
You mean NXT?
Or, I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
NXT. My bad. In NXT, that I'm reading... The next thing on our docket is 205 Live, the Halloween matches, so... sorry, reading while I'm trying to talk. It's not good. Yeah, but he was better there than he is here. And I don't know if it's nerves or if they're just not presenting him well. Or
Well, they have him as a face,
Yeah,
which I think is a
which
mistake.
that's stupid. You're a Ric Flair character.
Yeah.
I don't know if they
doesn't-
think the theme song or what. Yeah, it feels like a poor fit.
Yeah, that's
No,
not a
definitely.
good guy. That's a show off mother effer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But all right. So let's see. The 205 Live Halloween matches. I think we kind of all agreed those were fine. It was good for
Yeah.
the kids, you know, especially like I was actually on Halloween, SmackDown was on Halloween. I was thinking like if I was a child and I spent my Halloween at I would be so bummed. You missed out trick or treating. So I like that they gave a lot to the kids, but yeah, like it was just
Yeah, it was disposable.
an
It was
odd
fun.
scheduling, I think, overall, and I think that the wrestlers and you know they tried to make it what they could, but
Yeah.
NXT last week, Johnny Gargano is getting beat regularly over and over and over, despite having amazing matches. And we were kind of talking about whether that was good storytelling or if it was just wearing on us. We're hopeful. At the end of last week, we were hopeful. What do we think this week?
Well, they have a match for him now,
Mhm.
where he's fighting Pete Dunne, right? At Takeover.
Yeah, for a
Yes.
title match.
But I don't. Oh, that's right. Because that might go dark. I think you
Oh,
said
that's
that
right.
yesterday.
That's right.
yeah.
That's rumors. Sorry.
Yeah.
Even if it goes dark, I could see them recording it and putting it on NXT.
Yeah.
That should be a great match, but like
Yeah.
right away, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's probably not going to win that. So like,
No.
what are you doing? And at what point do you have him lose and lose and lose? And he's not losing due to outside interference from Ciampa. So at what point do you circle back around and have him? Because you have to finish that feud at some point, right? Or you have to
Yeah.
have that match.
I mean, it's been close to a year, right?
Yeah, I think
Since they
no.
broke
I
up?
think it was it SummerSlam?
People aren't going to remember this
Takeover?
feud when they come back to it.
I want to say it was SummerSlam Takeover, but it was WrestleMania at the latest, so it hasn't been a year, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And memories are
Again,
short.
I might have said it might have been last week. I think Gargano is on a hot streak right now, where he's one of the best in-ring people in the entire roster. So, just kind of bums me that I don't know where they're going with it. I hope they have a plan.
One
Yeah.
problem I've seen, or I think I've seen, is they'll have a wrestler on a hot streak that where he's over with the crowd so much, and so they'll use that momentum to have him lose to get other people over to make them strong, and then eventually they never get back to getting that person over, you know, to giving that person their win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just use Bray Wyatt as an example in that situation. Where you
Or
have this
still
person
Sami
who is
Zayn.
inexplicably over despite every like win-loss like
Yep.
record
Yeah.
within the ring. It's and it's
I have a little bit more faith with Gargano because NXT has shown that they're better at long-term storytelling. Like they did this with Sammy, and it was a long, long burn, and it was an amazing payoff. So I'd be less hopeful if this was on the main roster. So
which is
I'm hoping
crazy, though,
they have a
really,
plan.
right? When you
Yeah,
think
they
about
just
it like
forget.
that.
They throw things away and forget about them, and they
Yeah.
don't circle around anything. So
So
that should be a great match. Sorry, Gargano, and hopefully we get to see it somehow.
Yeah.
then One thing we're gonna, since Zach's still trying to relog, William Regal announced then last week that Sanity versus the Undisputed Era versus Roderick Strong and the Authors of Pain in a War Games. I'm just gonna zip through real quick because we really covered it in length last week, which no one got to hear. But
it was good.
It was really good. Trust me on this.
You guys missed out.
You guys, yeah, you should pay attention to these things. The War Games. What is a War Game? Now, I think in our group, Jason and I are the only two old enough to actually have lived through the old War Games. That's not really saying like that no one experienced them, because with the WWE Network, everyone can go back and watch all the War Games they want and have those experiences. So, yeah, it's probably a good idea. So, we recently went back and rewatched War Games at Wrestle War, May 1992, with the Squeen. Good gracious. I have to slow down here. With the Sting Squadron, which was Sting, Nikita Koloff, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Barry Windham. And they defeated the Dangerous Alliance, which was Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Stunning Steve Austin. Not Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stunning Steve Austin. Larry Zbyszko and Rick Rude. And
led by
what?
Paul E. Dangerously,
okay.
aka Paul Heyman.
Yeah. And then after almost 25 bloody minutes, Sting forced Eaton to submit with an armbar after Zbyszko accidentally hit Eaton in the shoulder with a metal piece of a dismantled turnbuckle, which the turnbuckle had been dismantled and fallen off of the ring post for so long. One of the wrestlers was in there for minutes, 5 minutes, maybe more, trying to put this back together. It was, and this turnbuckle back
it was
together.
Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And finally, someone used it as a weapon and hit somebody with it, because it was dude, you're not gonna fix this, and you look ridiculous, and we look ridiculous ignoring you. The one thing I will say with War Games is, oh my god, I hope they make the ceiling higher, because that chains,
it's
so
not
awkward. Like a cage match. You can't jump up. It is only about 8 feet, I would say, in height. Would you say? It's barely
it was not much clearance at all.
Yeah, and so all these men had just bloody foreheads and everything.
These poor men. There's a lot of blood in that match.
So bloody.
Stone Cold was so busted open.
So I'm gonna go through real quick. What is War Games for people? There hasn't been one since 2000. So if you're like, I don't know what the F you're talking about, that might be why. You know, 2000. We're on the verge of 2018. You adults, almost adult people, have never in their lifetime seen a live one. So it is at that point, the one in 2000 was a triple cage structure, but usually it's a double cage structure, and it was done in the WCW era. This will be the first time WWE's done one.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Because that was the waning days of WCW.
Yeah,
when they
it was
did the
a
last
concept from WCW, and it was
from
Dusty Rhodes. He was inspired after watching Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in 1987.
He's like, man, this is hard times.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
The earlier War Games, if you do want to go back and watch them, the 1987 to 1992 War Games are regarded as some of the best matches in NWA and WCW history. So watch those. Don't watch the 1993 and beyond ones. Those are
once Hogan starts getting in them, and they become different.
Poor.
Well, they're not. I don't remember them being as gritty.
Yeah, poor. Whatever. So the format of the War Games, it was funny because the 1992 when we were watching came up, and I didn't remember this just onslaught of rules. I'm like, okay, I'm already halfway zoned out. I have no idea what the rules are anymore. Just play the damn match, because there's so many rules with the War Games. So a War Games match consists of 2 teams, typically. Maybe they're gonna change it up. There's so many things that can change within a War Games, but so far it's always been 2 teams of 4 or more superstars on each team facing off with each other in staggered entry format. So think of that. Oh, what's that thing that WWE uses with the weird
Elimination
capsules.
Chamber.
Yes, it's kind of like
Yeah.
they actually
A little
Elimination Chamber is WWE's version of this, but not really. But think of that where it's a staggered type of entry system. The setup of the cage consists of usually 2 rings. The last one, though, was 3, but they are side by side with a cage that encompasses both rings, but not the ringside area. And the doors are on the far corners of the cage for each team to have their own entry. And the match begins with one member of each team entering the cage. After 5 minutes, a member from one of the teams, usually determined by a coin toss, but there has been it has been decided by other matches or other contests, but whatever. So we're just going to use coin toss for explanation purposes. So the winner of the coin toss enters the cage, giving one team a temporary 2-on-1 handicap advantage. After 2 minutes, a member of the other team then enters to even up the odds. The coin toss winning team always has the advantage of every 2 minutes. They have one more team member in there. The entrants alternate then in this way until all members are in the cage, and then the match, the War Games, actually begins. Once all the superstars are in the cage, they call that the match beyond, is like the title of that segment. And
so many rules.
I know. And then both teams brawl until any member of either team submits, surrenders, or is knocked unconscious. There are no pinfalls, no countouts, and absolutely no disqualifications. So when someone pulls the turnbuckle off the ring and like just starts beating someone with it, that's legit in the rules. It's insane. That's why it's called War Games, and that's why people are going bonkers for this. And
you might have said it because there were, and I might have missed it because there were so many rules. The thing that I kind of remembered and jumped out to me rewatching them was, which is strange and different than Elimination Chamber, is one person taps and the whole thing's done. Or whatever.
Yeah, one
it's
person
not elimination
from the team, but you have to give up. And when you see your in the old days though, when you see you're running into this ring, every single person on your team is bleeding like crazy. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be the guy that gives up. You know, that's kind of the thought process in the old days. I'm anxious to see what happens here. Mm-hmm. Things are different now.
Did you guys see they did post the rules for this one?
Are they different than that?
Yeah, so it's gonna be pinfall and or submission.
Pinfall's lame, done, and garbage.
They're treating it as a triple threat match. So all 3 teams will start in the ring, and then instead of doing like 6, buzz-ins or whatever, they're gonna do 3. So two, both they're the other 2 guys from each team will come in at once. So there will always be a odd man advantage.
Okay, well that was the heart of it. So there was always an advantage for one team. So I guess that'll probably work the same way. I kind of figured they'd tweak it a little bit, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah,
I think it's a little lame, but whatever.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, this is different in that I don't remember there ever being 3 teams.
That's true.
There might have been totally. I just don't remember any of those. So they probably. I get that.
I think
switch
it
as long as they kept that. There's one team with an advantage. That was always kind of the thing.
Okay, the thing I don't like pinfalls. It's War Games.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think nowadays they really protect some people from tapping out. But I don't know if that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lame. Anyway.
But I'm super excited for it.
If you want to candy coat and sugarcoat the War Games, I guess we can do that.
I hope it's this is one where like I don't know who wins. I would imagine since they're new, Undisputed Era. That would be my guess. But I mean like Authors of Pain are super protected. They're probably going up to the main roster soon. So like maybe they're not going to win. I really hope this is a time for those guys from Ring of Honor, Adam Cole and all them to shine, because I really like them, and I don't know if they've really had the main spotlight yet in NXT.
Yeah. I feel like they've been underutilized as well since they've been down there.
Yeah. I feel like they need a shining moment here to really push them. And I would imagine like Adam Cole's going to be in the title picture after not long.
He has to be. One of the most talented wrestlers on the roster.
Yes, but I don't feel like they've really shown it yet in NXT. So hopefully this is it.
Yeah. Maybe still earning his stripes in the WWE world.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah, he had a match with who
He
was
had
that?
one with Roderick Strong.
Yeah, last night. That
It was a good match.
Yeah.
And he had one a couple weeks ago that he won, and I can't remember who it was against.
I don't think I saw that one.
But it was kind of a blah match. I remember being like I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't
move.
Yeah. So like, I feel like he needs that. I think he'll do it because I think he's super talented.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. They do the Undisputed Era, like dominating NXT. They take the tag titles and Cole gets the world or the NXT championship.
And especially since that's kind of how they set them up as invading, I feel like they have to win this.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
sorry guys, I got kind of disconnected there. My Windows decided to update right now and shut my whole computer down.
That is awesome.
Did that bum you out?
Yeah, I was not very happy
was
about it.
that not a good time for that?
I think maybe not a great time, no. Yeah, I wish that it didn't happen.
How did that affect your podcasting abilities?
It made them almost not even possible. It was weird.
That's bad then.
Glad to be back, though. I'm kind of like Brock Lesnar. I come and go as I please.
For part-time.
Yeah, but I expect the big bucks still.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about, guys? Wrestling?
We covered everything. So
War
welcome
games,
back.
pretty much.
And, I was just gonna cover real quick. Total Divas. Just wanted to mention Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax are both on this season. Carmella and Big Cass are gonna be on this season a bit because Renee and Dean are off, which I'm not real happy about because that was a fun watch before.
Yeah.
And I heard on we had talked about this last week. We heard on the Sam Roberts wrestling podcast that there's a talk of a Miz and Maurice spinoff, but did want to cover real quick this week on Total Divas. I watched a bit of Alexa Bliss, and she covered some of her problems that she's had with anorexia and stuff. And
yeah, that was
it was fantastic. Like, I teared up, got emotional like a human.
That's
and everything.
when that show's really good because you knew that was real.
Yeah, like that's the stuff I like to see.
That aren't overly
not
scripted.
Like I see someone's horror or anything, but I like to see like the real person, and occasionally they let that through. You can see like the scripted stuff; it seems really awkward, and but like Lana too, she got really upset when they told her, "No, you're done." Like
wrestling.
Yeah.
After she had those Naomi matches, they showed Mark Carano or whatever, the one kind of say like, okay, you're not doing that anymore.
She's like, so for now, and he's like, no, I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Going in a new direction.
Yeah, like
you're done.
They were sending her down to the performance center, like and that's done.
And they're not even doing that.
So she's like, I'm not going to wrestle as much. He's like, no, you're not wrestling at all. And then he's kind of like, all right, see ya. And I'm like, I'm hoping that was for the camera.
I'm hoping it was for the camera and stuff, but like she was visibly upset. Like I don't know.
That's terrible.
But didn't she just do a house show or something? Because I thought I saw a clip where Naomi pulled her weave off.
They did a thing with Nikki, and Nikki's like, you know what? I tried talking to her, or she did. She goes, I talked to her, and she's like, I know how WWE works. This week they might tell you you're done forever. 2 weeks from now they're like, hey, we're gonna use you again. So she's like, I just told her, don't give up. Don't quit. Just keep working at it. You never know what's going to happen and what decisions are going to be made. I
feel like that was for the show.
Yeah.
And it
but I
will give
kind of see that, like that they do change their minds on things. So
they do. They flip flop all the time.
Seemed really upset.
Was that Nikki Bella that told her to never give up?
Yeah.
I wonder where she got that from.
I don't know. I think she read it on a napkin or something. I'm not sure.
Some sort of towel.
Yeah, like maybe one of those inspirational messages on Instagram or something. I'm not sure, but
I heard that Alexa Bliss is really good on there. She seems like a cool person. I've heard that.
Yeah, she's very
comes
likable.
Off as really how do you say?
You could tell she came off to me
authentic. like very
authentic.
Yeah,
and I feel very nervous. Like when they show her hanging out with Miz and stuff, and this is me totally reading into it, but it looks like she's kind of still gelling of being with all them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't fit in with Maurice much, but she's not supposed to either.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I actually watched 2 clips of Total Divas today on YouTube.
Oh,
okay. It was in my feed, and I was like, well, Shannon was talking about that last week. I might give this a try. And it was the scene where Maurice was working out and Naya was, or no, I forgot, or no, was
Lana.
Lana and Naya,
Yeah,
and I forgot
fake. That's fake, but yeah.
And then when Maurice and Naya were backstage, and she's Naya's like, yeah, I got to get ready for this. I forgot what type of match it was. Have you ever been in one of those?
Yeah, that's
I was
fake
like,
too.
yeah,
Those are the fake parts. Like I watched the whole hour for like those nuggets of like that's the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that they use those shows a lot to teach people how to present their character and their personalities and to just be on all the time because they are on all the time with the way social media works today. And it's kind of an acting honing technique, I think, that works well because they make money while they're doing the shows too. So yeah. But there's those little clips that I'm like, gold.
How were Big Cass and Carmella on there?
They haven't been on yet, really.
They haven't showed Cass yet.
Carmella, there's been 2 episodes for this season. Carmella was just on this week's episode. She wasn't even on last week.
They just kind of introduced her.
Yeah, and then which I didn't realize she was like a Laker girl and all this other stuff too.
Yeah, cheerleader.
Dancer and everything.
And a Patriot cheerleader.
Yeah, and her dad was a WWE or WWF wrestler, but he didn't really
kind of a jobber, I think.
It. Yeah. But she's always loved wrestling. It's always been in her family. Blah blah. Not only blah blah blah, but yeah. And the other thing I like about Total Divas is when you hear the backstories of some of the people, you gain much more respect for them. Like I absolutely hated Naomi before, like back when Total Divas first started. I hated Naomi, and like when I started watching the show, I'm like, oh, I love Naomi. Trinity is so awesome. And the really cool part is they use their real names usually.
Like
Brian,
like they call Brian, Daniel. Yeah. I think it's that and like that type of stuff. And I know, especially for you, like all the breaking ground stuff.
Yeah, I like
that type of access really, I think, gets you into certain
characters,
people and root for them that maybe you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because you get to see a little bit of their real personality.
Yeah.
I love those ride-alongs. Like every time I watch the new one right when it comes out Monday. I love those ones.
You might want to watch some of last season's Total Divas where Dean and Renee were doing stuff in their house. Or Dean and Renee, they did a couple of house like dinners and stuff. And so it was totally staged, but Dean Ambrose is
you get
he's not good at faking it. So, so you kind of get the real Dean Ambrose in his own.
He's out there.
So
and I think that's how he really is. He's very aloof. He kind of, you could tell, doesn't really want to be doing any of it, but he's doing it.
I don't even remember what I was watching, but they were like talking to Renee about like, how are you in Total Divas? You and Dean don't have any like problems. You had to totally make up stuff. And she's like, it was so hard.
Yeah, I remember they had a really weird storyline about meeting her parents.
Have
and
problems.
that was like super staged, but everything else was okay. They're a cute couple, and
they're a sweet couple.
Yeah.
Didn't he like chase a guy down for like taking her head or something?
They never showed. Yeah. So,
they had to make something happen, I think. There.
Yeah.
We're about half hour in, and we're almost through last week. So I want to cover. Yeah. Oh no, I haven't covered last week's rumors and then this week's rumors, but I did want to cover Ring of Honor a little.
Some of them might be outdated. I don't think we need to cover some of the older stuff. Yeah.
Life moves so quickly. I swear.
Yeah.
I was out. Did we already go over SmackDown?
We did.
Damn.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
What do you want to say? Talk about it.
Oh no, we didn't talk about the big match.
We didn't talk about it much at all. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just saying we got a new WWE champion.
Yeah, we missed that.
Oh, we did not talk about that at all, which is totally
I thought we were coming back to it.
Oh,
we can come back to it?
Let's go back.
Let's do it now.
That's actually totally my plan was to go back to it right now.
Yeah.
Perfect. So
boom.
So I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Best match Jinder's been in.
AJ Styles brings the match out of anybody. Shannon was telling me yesterday, if they put Shannon in a match with AJ Styles, it'd be at least a 4-star match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets the best match out of anybody. It's fantastic.
He does.
Really made it look like a smart match. Absolutely entertaining, and it made Jinder look so good. And I actually like Jinder. Like, there's something about him I do like. I don't like the character they have him doing, and I'm kind of glad he's done because I hope they reinvent him.
He's not done, but yeah.
I don't want him to be done. He seems like a nice guy, and I kind of want them to tweak him a little so that he's. Jinder seems to me like he should be a good guy. Like, I think he's a bad guy.
I'll give you that. He hasn't honed his craft as being a heel yet.
No, Jinder's a good guy. So,
But I feel like they've tried the baby like Indian dude, and it doesn't go anywhere. So I feel you on that because like I don't know how I feel him as a heel. I don't like the character. I mean, not as a heel in general, just the character. But
yeah,
but I think they're gonna maybe get him the belt back before they go to India.
Yeah, me too.
You were saying that yesterday because that's why I thought he was gonna lose it after that.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna.
I as time goes on, I think not, but I wouldn't surprise me. And what I was really pumped was as soon as AJ won, my first thought was, okay, they have 2 weeks. They're gonna mess with the storyline and get it back on him because Paul Heyman's been cutting promos on Jinder for a couple weeks now.
Oh, but still no one cares.
I know. But then as soon
that's the whole problem.
Totally. And before SmackDown went off the air, they already had the new graphic, and Corey was like, it wasn't, let's see what happens next week. It's Jinder versus Brock versus AJ. Mm-hmm. And my excitement level went, it went exponently out of control.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that because of the unstoryline changes they had to make prior, where you had Finn Balor and AJ Styles wrestle, and it got such a huge positive response from the the WWE universe, do you think that they felt more confident throwing this curveball now because they saw that something wasn't working and they saw what could work? And
I think something happened, and I was telling you that after SmackDown, like there had to be an event or some new research to where Vince said, this isn't working. This match doesn't have traction. AJ is crazy over.
Make no mistake, they have far more invested in market research than we think we know, but they know. You know?
Yeah. Something happened with that or something, and I haven't been excited for a Brock match in a long time because I am so tired of suplex, F5.
I'm not usually.
Because even the Samoa Joe match, I was excited for, but really just
it turned into the same thing. Yeah. And my hope is AJ is one of the few guys that is super over, and they have protected. I don't think he'll win, but it's got to be. He's going to pull a good match out of Brock, and Brock totally can do a good match. He's done plenty of good matches before Suplex City. So I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a squash like that.
After the Finn Balor AJ match, I feel like we're going to be in store for a lot more curveballs thrown at us because they realize how well. I like it though. I feel like they realized how well accepted the AJ versus Finn was, and they're going to keep going with that because we were all set on Jinder versus Brock. They got the fans. What word am I looking for? They got the fans' reaction for it. It was pretty negative, so they're like, all right, let's switch it up. Let's throw something different at them. Now everybody's excited for AJ versus Brock. I think they're just going to keep going in that direction, not know where they're going with it. Keep the audience guessing, keep it fresh. I really would like that, actually.
I'm okay with that.
They followed a standard format of the psychology works for a while now, and the problem is the fans have picked up on that formula as well. So, hopefully maybe this was not that it was a blessing that people got sick and stuff, but maybe that they can make something.
Change it up.
Maybe they can find some positive in
Think outside the box.
Yeah. To change things up.
Their box, yeah.
Let's see. I lost my show notes.
Well, we're on SmackDown.
See. Oh yeah.
We had Becky Lynch and James Ellsworth.
Oh
God, that was the worst. I was so okay. I've been watching a little bit of Lucha Underground, and so they have men and women fight, and it's pretty good. Becky seemed, and I love Becky, don't get me wrong, it was sloppy. She wasn't doing her best. I don't know if she was nervous or whatever, and then Ellsworth was obviously doing his Ellsworthian thing that was supposed to be sloppy, I guess. It was just bad.
Mm-hmm. They made it too close of a match. Becky should have went out there and squashed them. Ellsworth should have been cocky and got a couple pushes in, and then Becky should have kicked his fucking ass for 10 minutes straight.
I totally agree. It was too close. And I was thinking you were talking about WWE throwing curveballs. It would have been.
I think it was a curveball that they even had this match. Really.
What if Ellsworth went out and just beat the shit out of her for 45 minutes? Just endlessly, ruthlessly.
Then he goes on a run for the next 6 months, just beating
women.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like
I don't think WWE wants to do
I thought
that.
the match overall was
I'm gonna go on a limb here.
was fair to poor, but I thought it was kind of
It was
fun.
a bad match. No,
Mhm.
it was a bad
thought it was
match for
fun.
both people. I don't think it
will
was
say,
even fun.
I kind of liked
it was
Ellsworth's promo
awkward.
before, like, "Hey, a man's talking," like really leaning into it. So you got his comeuppance. I do wish it was
he
more
would, like lick the boots of any of those people.
Right. Where does he go from here? Because Carmella turned on him.
Back to the Indies?
Hopefully backstage. I don't wish him to do poorly in career, but
he's entertaining, like
perhaps
for what he
could
is.
Do something backstage as a writer or
just on a house show last night, and he was out there with all the women, and they all hit their finishers on him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you can only do that for so long,
man.
Naomi hit him with a Hulk Hogan leg drop, then Becky Lynch gave him a stunner. It was awesome.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that'd be cool to see. I would have rather have seen that.
Yeah.
Right. Just all of them kicking ass.
My problem was just like it was just more like wrestling, like technically. Well, I'm doubling.
It's from Zach.
It was too competitive.
But, yeah. I just like a punch. Like Becky just went in the corner, just gave him like 10 strong ones.
Yeah. Becky's usually amazing. It just seemed a little.
I mean,
Not
how
really
often has
finished.
she worked with him? She probably didn't have a flow with him.
I don't know.
Right. She needs to go on a run here soon.
She does.
Totally.
She needs
She's-
something.
She's better than what they're showcasing her as, and I think that was like I'm disappointed. The reason why I'm being a little harsh on this is because she barely gets her moment, and this was bad.
And
Like,
she's
it's
one
better
of the
than
top
this. Yeah, she is
wrestlers
better
on the
than
roster.
this. So
Female wrestlers.
She's a
I'm-
top babyface diva.
I'm
She needs to
frustrated.
get into a program with Natalia and eventually take the title off her.
Yeah.
And I really would like to see some good matches between her and Charlotte because they could tear down the house if they want.
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
amazing.
love to
They
see some
haven't-
of those.
They did that, a little bit before, but yeah, they could totally do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think there's gonna be a title change Tuesday.
I do too. I think what they're doing, I kind of think Charlotte, because that's a way more interesting match of her and Alexa.
No one wants to see Natalia.
I mean, I would. She's on my fantasy team, but
I
Okay.
Charlotte's
That
on,
be- that
Charlotte's
being
on mine.
Aside from from fantasy points, and don't get me wrong, like Natalia, she's the old school, and she's one of the few from the old school that can actually hold a match. But I don't think
It's a
she's
different
at-
league.
Yeah, there's a
But
there's.
I will say, if Charlotte doesn't win the title, I think we're in store for a cool moment in the women's match where she's in the ring with Asuka, and they'll tease because that's a WrestleMania match. And that, I'd be okay with they're gonna tease that and go with a little bit, but not give you too much.
Yeah.
And that could be really cool.
I've been surprised they haven't really focused on no one's really asked Alexa flat out, like, what do you think of Asuka? Like, they're so focusing on other people with her.
They got to build Asuka up first.
I know, but
She's gonna run through the division.
you got to
and
build
then-
Asuka up first. But like for me, it's like, really?
But we all watch NXT. For the casual
guess.
viewer,
I guess
they don't know how much of a badass Asuka is.
That's
Yeah.
true. I was listening to another podcast, Not Your Demographic, which is Founder's Perspective on Wrestling, and they were talking. The one lady was talking about her fiance. He doesn't watch anything but like Raw and SmackDown. That's it. And he
Most
likes
people.
wrestling, but that's it. And he doesn't understand Shinsuke Nakamura at all. He doesn't get why he's supposed to be a big deal or anything.
I could totally get that.
But-
How
Yeah.
That's
they
an
booked them.
amazing thing for me. Like listening to their podcast, I'm like, oh my god, you really wouldn't get it because he's done nothing here.
Not much. He beat Cena in a good match, but yeah.
We have a
But-
lot of our friends that watch wrestling, but not like us, and we kind of had to tell them why Shinsuke was so unreal, and they didn't get it until we would go back and show them the match against Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
back to
That's the
Bobby
one to go
Roode.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once you
I've
learn
watched that
those
match
things-
probably 5 or 6 times.
But if you're
Better
just
every time.
like, you like wrestling and you watch, your Raw and you watch SmackDown, and then you're like, well, no, I watch a lot of wrestling. I watch 2 nights a week, which is a lot of wrestling, really.
Mhm.
You don't feel like a casual person when you're spending 2
No,
nights of
but
your
you-
week devoted to wrestling. and then you have no idea about all this other stuff that's going on because they're not showing you, and I think that's kind of a discredit to
totally. And the
stories
same
that are being
thing
told.
is happening. We talked about it, I think, Zach, when you were off. Same thing's happening with Bobby Roode.
I was literally just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Someone who didn't watch NXT would be like, "This guy is awkward because I don't think he should be a face." Like the music's
he should be a
cool.
heel. Makes no sense that he's a babyface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so, and you can tell he feels awkward.
And it's like,
doesn't
so
fall.
you're at odds with Ziggler. Who cares?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Ziggler, but
And that's
It doesn't help. It doesn't help either of them, though.
no, it doesn't.
Vince was thinking that his entrance music was already too over, that he was going to be a babyface. But I feel like the entrance music makes him look like a cocky heel, and it makes even his round out his character as a bad guy even better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally.
Like even in NXT, he was a heel, but he was the fan. He was like the cool guy heel.
It's the classic like Flair. Like
Yeah.
he's a heel. You cheer him. He's cool.
Yeah.
And I hopefully they got to turn him soon. Otherwise, it's going to be the whole thing. Like, what was the big deal about this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not vibing well.
No.
Not at all.
And I don't think I really like Bobby Roode. I don't think he has the promo skills to pull off a face.
Not a face. He's good at
No.
a bad guy.
Yeah.
But you know, like Sasha and stuff have said, like Charlotte too, has said bad guy so much easier.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah,
So much easier to get over.
You can just go out there and just say the worst thing that pops in your head.
And then eventually
Whereas
they
a
start
nice
cheering.
guy,
you.
you're like, what do people like?
Yeah.
But I
So
definitely
many
know
of
people
the
don't like.
popular
Well,
faces are
everyone
heels. Yeah. That
You know,
that just the
yeah.
crowd started cheering
You
for
can
him.
find things that everyone's gonna hate. Easy.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
Yeah. One thing just to kind of move on. Ring of Honor was in Michigan not last week, week before, and we had men on the scene.
I was there in Mount Pleasant.
Tell us about your experience again.
I will do it for the second time. Not gonna lie, last time I was starting to get pretty buzzed, so I don't remember talking about it as
Awesome.
much.
This is like first time for you then.
This is the first time I'm going by it, going
Yeah.
through it. All right, so I went to
Wait,
the
wait,
soaring.
Can someone confirm we have audio? Just
I'll do it.
Yeah, I looked it up.
all right.
We good? All right, so we're recording.
We are recording, and yeah, we have audio. Go ahead.
Perfect. All right, so I went to the Soaring Eagle Cup. It was at Mount Pleasant in the Soaring Eagle Casino, and it was a Ring of Honor show that had pretty much their main roster, and besides a few people that couldn't make it there, it was about 3,000 fans there. It held 3,000, so there's probably about 2,500 people there. It was an 8-man tournament. There's 4 matches, and the 4 winners went to the finals in a fatal 4-way. We had Dalton Castle and Flip Gordon in a match, which was amazing. Flip Gordon is one of the best wrestlers in the indies right now. He's starting to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I saw. I follow him on Instagram because I really liked him, and he's actually a full-time service member too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
he's like
He does this part-time right now.
Yeah, he wrestles part-time, and he had his service uniform on, and he's like back to real life. Like
That is really cool.
Yeah,
I
that
did
is
not
really
know
cool.
that. So he faced this guy named Dalton Castle. I know, Jason, you know of him.
Mhm.
He might be one of my new favorite guys. He's like the prima donna rock star of Ring of Honor. He is fantastic. So Dalton Castle won that match. We had Frankie Kazarian versus Jay White, and Frank Kazarian won. Nothing really special about that match. We had Matt Taven defeating Jay Lethal. That was a very good match. If you guys know who Jay Lethal is,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
he is
One of the
amazing.
coolest looking finishers.
Yeah, it's basically an RKO after a bounce off the ropes and like a handstand.
Looks so fluid though.
Yeah. Matt Taven, by the way, is a guy to watch out for. He is a bad guy. He's probably the best, one of the better heels on the indies right now. I've started like kind of following him around. He actually came into the crowd during the match, during the finals, and he had a guy pour beer on his head in the crowd, and that guy got kicked out immediately. But it was a pretty cool scene. And then Cody came out, and he wrestled Christopher Daniels. And after the match, Cody had his wife Brandy. She's actually from Michigan, so she had all of her whole family was there. So Cody had her niece come in. She was about 12 years old, put the belt on the line, and let her pin him for the Ring of Honor championship. So technically, Emily from Mount Pleasant is the Ring of Honor champion.
So
right
she's going to be wrestling at the next pay-per-view.
Oh,
Yeah, she's gonna get her
Just get destroyed for 30 minutes.
That family. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Great people. And so, have you guys heard of Cheeseburger?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I love
he was
Cheeseburger.
there.
I want a
Kind of
Cheeseburger
become a
t-shirt.
sensation
Yeah.
over the last year.
Yeah, his T-shirt sold out like one of the first ones to sell out at there.
People love him.
He's like,
And he's
I think he's like 130 pounds.
Yeah,
Maybe.
130 something. And I remember seeing him about a year or so ago, and he is so much better in the ring now. I don't know if I
He's
just
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, he ended up losing, but I feel like that's almost his character. He put up a great fight and instead of losing because he's 130 pounds, so he's going to lose most of the
It's
time.
all heart.
Yeah. So then they had a match that wasn't a part of the tournament. It was a triple threat tag title match. It was the Motor City Machine Guns who got a huge pop because they are from Michigan, and this was like I think one of their first title defenses, and they faced the Dogs. I don't really know who they are.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, and then they face Hangman Page in one half of the Young Bucks. And Hangman Page is my favorite out of the Bullet Club. He is awesome. And that was an amazing match just to see all the spots, see all the stuff that they can do. It was a super entertaining. Motor City ended up winning to retain the titles, but it was cool to see one half of the Young Bucks and part of the Bullet Club in a match. It was really cool.
Yeah, I want to go next time it's anywhere remotely around us.
Go ahead.
Oh, due to it being the Saturday before Halloween, we just had some family obligations. So
I wasn't gonna go. I'd end up deciding to go Friday night around 12 o'clock. Me and my friend got into a drunk conversation and decided, like, hey, let's just go tomorrow. He's like, I'm down. And we ended up getting a hotel room the next day. Got tickets. So we ended up sitting basically front row for $30.
Oh,
that's cool.
God.
It was incredible. So the finals was a 4-way elimination. It was Dalton Castle versus Silas Young, Frank Kazarian, and Matt Taven. Dalton Castle ended up winning the whole thing, which was a huge pop in the crowd because even people that didn't know who he was, like myself, wanted him to win. He just had so much charisma.
Won me over.
Won me over in a heartbeat. I follow him on Twitter now. I'm going to order myself a shirt. He's going to be my new favorite wrestler.
Didn't he did that return at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
He was the one who had the mask on, which was a really cool segment.
Yeah. And I didn't really think of anything of it then. That was the first time I seen him.
Yeah.
Seeing him now, I'm like, wow, that was really cool. And then the coolest part of it was, so they were doing autograph signings right outside the concourse. No, right outside the little venue on the concourse. And like Bully Ray was out there. We got to see him. And Cody Rhodes was out there for like an hour and a half during the show doing autographs. And so we were getting ready to leave. I came out of the bathroom and there was like 3 people standing in line. I had to see somebody standing over there and it ended up being Cody. So I went and got in line. He didn't charge me anything. I didn't even ask him to sign anything. No charge. Just took a picture with me. Seemed like the coolest dude. It was
Seems like he's enjoying this whole ride.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you, can I put that on our Instagram?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
I posted all over mine. So
cool.
Did you kiss the ring?
I don't know if he had it on. I was like kind of starstruck. That was like the first time I've gotten like that.
Yeah.
He might want to be careful when he's out.
Yeah, it's also he keeps it in his trunks. I don't know if you want to kiss the ring.
Yeah, it's probably true. But he had the belt on.
He gets so happy though when people do. I love how excited he gets.
Yeah, because think about it. If like someone bought into that idea that you had, you're like, oh my god, people are doing this.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took a picture with him, gave him the 2 sweet symbol, and I really felt bad because my friend went over to go to merchandise. He was being a nice friend. He was going to go buy me a T-shirt. But so when I was in line waiting to get my picture taken, I'm sitting there like, where's Mitch at? And then he comes back. He's like, man, I tried getting you a T-shirt. Where were you at? I'm like, I just met Cody Rhodes. He's like,
my
what
buddy.
the fuck?
Was he bummed?
He was definitely upset.
That
Oh
sucks.
man.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm happy for you, man, but that sucks. And they were sold out of T-shirts. So he didn't
so
get a
nothing
shirt.
worked out for him.
Yeah.
Nothing's really working out for you, is it?
This is just for future podcasting. I'm gonna call it now. That's Zach luck. Zach always has that luck, and everyone else has regular people luck, and Zach has Zach luck. So.
Yeah, if you ever ask him, like, how did you do that? He's like, well, I showed up, and then I was Zach,
happened.
and then it happened.
I was there, and I was Zach.
I'll take it, man.
You should.
Better than Jason luck.
No, totally.
Jason
I wouldn't
luck
wish
is
this
the
on my worst
worst.
enemy.
I used to have the best luck till I married him. Now I have above average luck still, but it's nowhere near the luck I used to have. I used to have similar Zach luck, and now it's like
Getting closer and closer to Jason.
Like, just for a side story, one time, like, we were at a restaurant, and just randomly a guy comes up and goes, "Oh, are these your keys?" And I go, "Oh yeah, they are. Thank you." And Jason's like, "Whoa," because we're just sitting there eating dinner. He's like, "How does that happen?" I go, "Oh, I actually now I remember I left them in the bathroom." He's like, "A man."
They'll find their way back.
Just like, and then realized like, how does that? I'm like, I don't know, it just happens. like my keys.
That happened at the big house. Remember, we went to the soccer game and we were all a little tipsy leaving, and some guy tapped you on the shoulder. Are these your keys?
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, you gotta keep track of your keys.
I'm bad with keys. Yeah.
Things will just find their way back.
Everything's fine.
But we got back and Jason's car wouldn't start because that's Jason's luck.
But then Zach missed. It was Zach luck.
Yep.
So
I wouldn't fuck somebody got a jumper cam.
Yep.
Anyway.
Good memories. Good times.
That's
times.
when we all go out, it all balances out. We have an amazing time.
That's why I yell hard times so much, because I identify
you have
with
hard
it.
Times. Like,
I have a hard time.
really bad.
Hard times, babies.
So I'm gonna go over last week rumors, and then you guys are gonna help me out with some of this week rumors, because there were a bunch. There's
Perfect.
God, like
Shit's going crazy.
we could do a podcast every day if we could get together every day.
That's why people like Meltzer and them do.
You
'cause
could.
there's so much crap to talk
All right, so on Halloween, we're going to go back to Halloween. It's November 9th right now. Finn Balor tweets a picture of a tombstone and simply reads, "Bye," just as the internet just happened to go crazy about Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, saying that, "Oh, do you notice all of their WWE references are removed from their Twitter bios?" And it ended up being like, no, their bios had been that way for months. Like, it was just like this.
It was because of the other firings.
The other firings happened, and people are just getting a little paranoid and stuff. And Finn Balor was tombstoned that week, so
they are the king of trolling everybody. Did you guys notice?
They like to do that, yeah.
Did you guys notice when all the roster came out at the end of Raw when New Day appeared? The first three people out of the curtain walking together were Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, just trolling the crowd at all times.
Leading the crew.
Yep. The club.
Remember when Finn, before he debuted, he kept like tweeting, and when he was at NXT, "See you Monday." And,
yeah.
So that's just part of his thing.
He likes to do that.
Just being assholes.
He's not as shy as he likes to think he is.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 35 location Detroit has been rumored. Nothing's been confirmed. There's been a lot of that rumor. Seems to be debunked-ish. It's I'm still hopeful because that's where we live.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, they said the Detroit Commission of Sporting or whatever said they put in a bid for 33 and 34, and they didn't put one in for 35. But it could all be a work, so you never know.
But why wouldn't you put one in for 35 when you have a brand new arena?
They won't be there.
Well, that's true. It would have been at Ford Field, but
still, you have another arena and a whole district downtown now.
Yeah, like it's right.
And places have built up now since that. Anyway.
There's a lot of reports too of the WrestleMania in 2000s that Zach and I went to. That it was like at the time it was the most successful WrestleMania. Wait, I think it was up until a couple years ago.
It was, but how old was Zach at that one?
That was in 2007, I believe. So I was 13. Yeah. So I was Matthew's age. How crazy is that?
Yeah. So just to let listeners know, we have like a multi-generational type of podcast thing going on here.
I think they can figure that out. Yeah.
Well, no, not by audio.
That's true. Yeah.
WrestleMania 34 package costs. I kind of just wanted to cover. I kind of went through it. It didn't seem because we were seeing some crazy prices. Like one guy posted my package for 4 people and it was like $26,000. Well, he must have bought
front row everything
and the extra packages of everything, because I priced it out for what it would have cost Jason and I and our son, and it would have been $3,500. So, for the silver package, honestly.
And that's expensive but doable for a long vacation.
Yeah, it's a bit much, but still okay.
If it's here, it's so much easier. You can get into WrestleMania and some shows not an insane amount of money.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you spent just $600 to $800 on tickets, you could go to just about everything. You don't have to worry about airfare or hotels or anything.
Yeah. Hotel's a big one.
And plus the silver package, you were getting 100 level seats. They're good seats.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then.
They weren't like the nosebleed seats. So
the coolest part about that would be all the indie events that be coming to the
it'd be just
surrounding area.
insane.
Totally.
We got to get one at some point. Detroit's too good of a wrestling town to not have another one.
Yeah.
My buddy who lives in Florida, he went to the WrestleMania last year, and the night before he went to the Ring of Honor show that was Young Bucks versus the Hardys.
Yeah.
Like, he just went to everything.
All the leagues like descend upon wherever WrestleMania is because
there's wrestling fans everywhere.
There's the demand.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to get your name out there for everybody, and they're all
Exactly.
right there. Let's see. The last week we covered the Emma, Darren Young, and Summer Rae release for WWE. We talked about it quite a bit. I don't know if there's really much to talk about this week now. Don't have anything they wanted to voice about it. That
it's a bummer. I feel like Emma's starting to hit her stride. But the other two, I'm really don't. Not that I don't care. Just they were on the radar.
See, I love
but Emma
Summer
really
Rae.
was a surprise. Yeah. But
I think
Darren
Summer
Young great
Rae,
again.
like Emma, like didn't really get her, and probably Darren Young too. Didn't really get their push, but
Darren Young started getting pushed a little bit, but then he got like a 6 to 9 month injury and was just done.
That was a shitty push, though.
Yeah, he had Bob Backlund with him.
Oh, you know what? I don't even remember. I was listening to a podcast. They thought that was a great push. I'm like, that was the lamest stuff ever. Like, I thought that was so dumb.
You could tell it was going nowhere.
Yeah, but whatever. It is kind of old news at this point, so I'm not gonna. I just kind of want to cover it because we didn't get a chance to cover it, and that was the Leo Rush mess. Went into that.
Oh God, I forgot. There's been so much crap that I forgot about that.
I know, and I think that's kind of buried at this point.
And he's probably pumped.
Yeah, I bring it up again.
Talking about it.
Undertaker return is gonna come around, which we kind of talked about, like.
But we don't know what capacity.
Yeah, but his
could just be as a reunion, or it could be as a match on.
Yeah.
Solid,
setting up a match or whatever. I don't know.
We talked about Young Bucks were wrestling on Chris Jericho's cruise, but now we have Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah, there wasn't
God. Yeah, what did we watch?
The New Japan pay-per-view last week.
Yeah,
that was Saturday night, Sunday morning.
What is that called?
Oh,
Wrestle Kingdom.
No, Wrestle. Oh, that's in January. You mean the one that just happened?
No, I mean the one we just watched. What was that?
It was. Oh God, Price of. What was it?
It
had a weird name. I could never remember.
So we watched the New Japan Professional Wrestling pay-per-view this week, last Saturday, and it was fantastic.
What were some of the good matches on that card? I didn't get to catch it.
I really liked Ibishu and
Ibushi. He was.
Yeah.
He was wrestling. I'm gonna pull up results.
It's really hard.
That was the main event. And Omega wrestled. Fuck. I
always forget his name.
Yeah.
I'm very new to the New Japan Pro Wrestling scene, so.
Yeah, we're still kind of wrapping our head around everybody and.
Why did you call us out, Zach?
I'm sorry. I was trying to talk wrestling, guys.
It was that Power Struggle.
Power Struggle was the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tanahashi versus Ibushi was the main event. That was a really good match.
Ibushi in the
Cruiserweight.
Yeah. And I liked him there. So that's the only reason why I knew. Well, other than I can't say his name apparently. I was kind of rooting for him. And then he had this amazing match and he lost. And he was so grateful for the match. Like, he bowed to his opponent, and he was just so thankful to have this wrestling moment with him. And it was just, like, so respectful. Like, it was stuff you don't just see in WWE wrestling.
Because they would overbook it.
You had two faces, pretty much, in a match. And it was very emotional still.
The best match I thought was the best match was the Will Ospreay. Oh God, am I looking at the right one? Marty Scurll, right? Yeah, and Will Ospreay.
Who won?
Marty Scurll. So that was a great match, and Kenny Omega beat Beretta, which in a really good match, I thought.
But the big news out of that is Kenny Omega asking for a challenger.
Oh yeah.
Chris Jericho I like how they did the same thing. How he kind of debuted back in WWE. They had the countdown, it was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he had the picture, just cut it in half.
It was a cool looking
and people
promo.
were asking like, how could Jericho do this? How could Jericho do this? And it just kind of came out like, well, I don't know if it came out. It wasn't like it was a secret. Just people didn't realize Jericho's not under contract with WWE.
He's a free agent.
He hasn't been for like 6 months.
He can do whatever he wants, and he's doing his cruise where he's booking events and then doing whatever he feels like.
There's no animosity though, because they said that Jericho approached Vince to do an NXT tournament first, and they said no.
Yeah.
And also Vince McMahon tweeted to Jericho today saying happy birthday.
Yeah, I think Jericho's in that kind of level where very few people are, that he'd really have to fuck up.
Yeah, he's done so much for Vince McMahon, made him so much money over the last 20 years.
And he's going back. He's not gonna.
And he's not being a jerk about it. He's not going out there disrespecting WWE at all. Like he's just saying like, hey, I brought this to you first. Okay, you don't want to do it? I'm gonna do it.
If anything, this could help WWE in the long run.
Yeah.
Bring more exposure to Jericho. People want to look up. All people in Japan want to look up his old matches by the network. Yeah. You never know. This could actually help WWE in the long run.
Maybe some of the younger ones, the older ones, there will remember him from New Japan back in the day. But
but that's gonna be a hell of a match. I can't wait. I'm definitely gonna order Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What time do those air?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. So
I don't catch them live.
I avoid the internet and watch the next day.
I don't really have to avoid the internet that much.
That's what I was thinking. It's on a Thursday though.
It's on a Thursday?
Yeah.
So I gotta take Friday off of work.
That's what I was thinking.
Sorry, Dad.
I'm too tired to do that.
Wait, do we all want to do that and have like a live feed?
Ooh,
I would be down.
Maybe, as long as I'm like in my jammies and
like we could do that here. Have everyone crash here
my
and
jammies. Yeah.
put up
That'd
a
be cool.
webcam and cover us covering the stream. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, but we could look into it.
I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, that's done. That's dead. Okay, I'm gonna go straight. I did want to cover, if you didn't see it, you might want to look it up on YouTube, on the WWE YouTube. The Halloween thing where Renee and Sasha and Gulak and a few other WWE superstars on Halloween did a thing where they all kind of did some makeshift costumes last minute and did a costume contest. It was just like this little bit, but Gulak came out as Sasha Banks, and it is priceless. Did you guys all catch it?
I didn't see it, but I seen a picture of Gulak as Sasha Banks, and that's all I need to see.
Did you see all of Gulak?
I seen all of Gulak.
He was filling it out. Sasha's even like, I don't have that down there.
Yeah, Sasha's like, is that my gear?
Good for Gulak.
Oh, it was really, really hilarious. So catch that if you can. The one thing I did want to go into this week's rumors, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the rumor is were sent home from
I tried to forget about this.
Europe, right?
Yeah,
Bummed me out. Yeah.
They were sent home from the UK tour.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around that they were sent home because on SmackDown, after the Kofi Kingston and Sami Zayn match, they were supposed to sell for the New Day, and instead they rolled out of the ring, and they are being accused of going into business for themselves.
And there's other rumor that they've been difficult to deal with lately.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see it. I'm probably just hated because I love them both.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. And
I want to say the guy who scooped that has kind of been off, and I know Meltzer specifically said
Meltzer debunked it a little.
Yeah, that's not entirely true.
Not that he's
he said,
but
he kind of said if there was oh totally if there was a if they did get out of the ring or whatever, it was a accidental miscommunication. But if that's the case, I don't know why they would send them both home.
I don't know. The only part that worries me, and this is total me speculation, so me speculation, not an actual rumor with any merit, is just that I think back to Kevin Owens was just sent home for personal reasons, and it was kept very private, and maybe there was some other complications with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case
I hope
because
not,
I
because
know
I would
he's
actually
close with
hope-
Sammy, but why would they send Sammy home too? He's
If it-
working.
However tragic it was, you don't know.
Maybe I think though that they might put out a statement, kind of like they did before, like he went home for a personal reason. They didn't even do
That's
that.
true. That's
I don't
true.
think.
Maybe they sent
So-
Sammy for, I don't know, sent Sammy with him to be with him if it was a hard time. But I don't know. It's
But I
just
think
so much
Jason's
gray
right.
area.
They probably would have said like this was a personal reason, but 2 personal reasons.
Because didn't
in a
they do that
row-
when
Yeah, you're
Kevin
right,
Owens?
they did.
Yeah.
But 2 personal reasons in a row is gonna like get people digging more. And if Kevin Owens was like, "No, really, I don't want this is my personal life," I don't know. I hope actually. I would actually hope that they're being difficult and this was like some sort of punishment rather than something that horrible. Because if it's that horrible, I wouldn't wish something that bad on somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Maybe we could get Kevin Owens on the show next week to ask him about
yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll give him a call.
He's not answering my phone calls.
I tweeted at him.
Did
So
you?
I got his Twitter.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I tweeted at him. So we'll see how that pans out.
No response yet?
No.
What
Actually,
a dip.
well, I tweeted, but I didn't hit send yet because I'm really scared.
Oh. Yeah, he's intimidating.
He likes to block people.
I'm a little nervous, so we'll see how it goes.
Maybe if I dress up like him, because all my friends say I look like him, we can get a response out of him.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, like, hey, you don't know us, and we're absolutely nobodies, but would you like to come share your personal private experiences with us? And, I'm just thinking, like, that's probably the best way to word that.
Hopefully he picks up on the sarcasm. And if
Maybe
you
he'll
get
bring back his public access Kevin Steen show.
Oh, that would be great.
That was so good.
Yeah,
if you get blocked, Shannon, I'm pretty sure you have like 40 other accounts you can still follow him with.
Yeah.
I do.
So you'll be able to see what he's saying one way or
Yeah,
another.
it wasn't really a big milestone when we got 1,000 followers.
You already had like 950 probably,
Yeah, anyway.
or 1,000.
Yeah.
Let's
Actually,
talk about something more fun.
huh?
Let's talk about something more
Okay,
fun. That
Ric
rumor
Flair-
bums me out.
30
What do you guys
for
think about-
30. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, what do you guys think about John Cena being added to the SmackDown Survivor Series, or did we already talk about that?
No,
That's
we didn't.
cool.
I don't care.
Yeah, I wish Rusev would have been on the team.
Yeah.
I just love Rusev.
Yeah.
And they made everybody else battle to get into it.
Yeah, I
but
see his
John
tweet.
Cena's on the
Yeah,
team.
his tweet was epic. So, what did his tweet say? For those who didn't say it.
I'm going off. He said, "I'm very happy for my friend John Cena, who I'm paraphrasing, who totally qualified for the SmackDown team."
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love that. Roman Reigns was risen from the dead this week. Someone I think Big E made a comment about him not being very big, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm bigger than you, boy," and got a little sassy there. But it was weird because like he came out of nowhere with it,
hmm Roman Reigns will be back on Raw on Monday
Yeah,
because he's going to go to the Central Disease Control because it's in Atlanta.
get
Yep.
cleared.
He will be there.
Yeah.
Run
Yep,
there on
they
the
cleared
way.
him.
Yep. I'm excited for Shield New Day. I assume that's where they're going.
Yes, I am too.
That'd be
cool.
awesome. Some of the old Shield matches with like the Wyatts were always fantastic. When I
Yeah.
first got back into wrestling, it was like Shield versus Evolution.
Yeah, me
Those are
too.
some awesome matches.
And like that last match right before the breakup at one of the pay-per-views after WrestleMania was great.
I think it was Payback, maybe 2015.
Yeah,
That was
and
great.
they beat Evolution.
hmm
It's always a plan B.
Do we have any more rumors this week?
Rumors.
Hmm.
Let me talk to my sources.
There were a bunch.
Let me look through my sheets.
You know what?
No, there's not any.
No, okay.
Nothing else.
I would like to go through the Ric Flair 30 for 30.
Oh yeah.
We haven't finished it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm halfway through it as a.
we're halfway through too.
Oh, okay, us too. So fantastic. Oh
There-
my god.
They're definitely not hiding any of the family infidelity type stuff.
But also
Mhm.
too, like I thought it was really well done in that he was very honest about his parents. He was very honest about his. They have his first wife on, and she's phenomenal. Like, don't you just want to hug her? Like,
I know.
think about what she went through, and she hasn't said one bad thing about this man.
That's just a good person.
On the
She's like-
show, yeah.
She's well, but still, I mean,
No, she said like, I won't say anything bad because of
that's
the
my
children.
my kid's father.
And she
Yeah.
was classy about
That
it.
is
And
classy.
Yeah.
Because she had her moment, and she was like, "Well, no, I'm not going to do that."
From everybody that I've talked to that's watched it, they all just come out and say, "Wow, Ric Flair was really a piece of shit back in the day."
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
But
Yeah.
if you were in your 20s with zero responsibility and all of that, you're gonna probably
well,
be
he
a
had
dick.
responsibility, but yeah.
Well, he didn't recognize.
He didn't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
I totally understand it. And like what I was telling my friends is that Ric Flair set out to be the greatest professional wrestler of all time. He did not care about anything else besides professional wrestling. And he did it. He did what he loved. He might have done some very bad things on the side, but he did what he wanted to do.
Live the gimmick.
Exactly.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was the nature
Yeah.
boy.
And there must have been
there were-
enough.
Times when he was
Yeah.
talking to, sometimes he was laughing about it, but there were other times where he was like it was a moment, So
Yeah.
I don't think it's all like I don't think he regrets it because it made him who he is and who he got to where he wanted to be. But then on the other hand, he does recognize the cost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He lived the gimmick. He was addicted to wrestling. You can obviously tell he had a lot of family issues and adoption and kind of cold parents, and he was medicating through all of that. And wrestling was part of that.
Very lucky for his genetics.
I am
Looked like
amazed. I mean, I have 3 beers and I have a headache for 2 days. And he would drink, go do a 60-minute Iron Man match, and he wouldn't go to bed. He'd go party.
Did they talk about his cocaine use in the show?
Not
No.
yet.
at the point where I am yet, so I'm not sure because I still have more to finish. But
Because there's no way during the 80s he wasn't doing something.
was-
I've heard him in other interviews say he did a couple other things, but that was never a problem with him. Alcohol was always his drug of choice.
Yeah, I know that was his go-to.
So even if he did, it seems like that stuff probably didn't impact him much. Alcohol didn't impact him much until recently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
um,
How
It's
old is
crazy.
he now? He's almost 70, isn't he?
He's, I think, mid to late 60s. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really well done. I'm
yeah.
so far, we're an
More of it,
hour
yeah.
in, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I'm excited to go home and finish it.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had some trouble streaming it because we don't have basic cable.
hmm
We usually do apps for things. So how did we end up watching it? Like
We just watch it on my iPad.
because other people might be having the same problem. So how do you access it?
I
If you
did the
don't
Watch
have
ESPN
cable.
app, but it
Okay.
wouldn't let me Chromecast it. It would let me Chromecast everything else on ESPN,
I
but
wonder
not
if there's
that.
a time limit, like because it's,
Maybe. Maybe. So just watch it on the iPad.
A lot of them go on to Netflix maybe a month or two after they're done.
No,
The 30
they
for
took 'em
30s?
off.
They took them off?
They took them all.
Oh, because of
Oh.
Disney. Disney is
Oh.
getting away from Netflix.
Because they're
Yeah.
starting their own streaming service.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, God, that sucks.
Everything's a
Yeah.
pain now.
Yep. Damn technology.
Bam.
Is that a show?
I think so. We did good. You got your
Got my fog machine.
there you do. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't think that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we
There were a lot more.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would like to apologize because of our technical difficulties last week, and then this week it was like kind of a mixed bag show, but hopefully you got the gist of everything.
We're gonna
enjoyed
slowly-
it, huh?
We're gonna slowly start getting the ball rolling and finally have
Oh my
one full
gosh.
show.
Getting this
No
thing
problems.
going has been.
Hard times.
You know what? It's been some Jason luck, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
I bet if it
Yeah.
was just me, you, and Joey, we'd have no problems at all.
This thing would be golden. Yeah.
Awesome. So
So
next week we're going to vote one person off the island. I know who I'm voting for. Just kidding, Jason.
well, if you've made it this far, wow, thank you so much for listening to Kipping Up with Wrestling. And if you enjoyed it, subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And the one after that, and the one after that. And be sure to check us out on our website at kippingupwithwrestling.com. We're also on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Reddit, etc., at Kipping Up. And you can watch us record live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel, subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll get that info as it happens. And you can join us throughout the week at our Discord channel where we text about wrestling all day long. Links are in the show notes and on the site. You can email us with corrections, feedback, comments, and interview opportunities at contact@kippingupwithwrestling.com.
Thank you for listening to Kipping Up with Wrestling. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on YouTube